Hey, Jelle here, growing bonsai and 2 quinces. And this is going to be a bit of a messy video. This video has been 1 year in the making. I know you like these videos that take a long time to make with lots of steps in between. These two I last year got from a trader and he had massive frost damage. You can still see lots and lots of dead pieces, but this is not how I got them. Let's look back at last year when I got them. Then I just removed all the dead branches. And after removing the dead branches, I started carving. So I carved here in the trunk and there in the trunk to get these wounds to close over. Taking a carving tool, I carved out all the dead wood until I started to see the first lines of healthy, living green cambium. Now these have been repotted last year and just now. You know what, I'm going just to stop talking. Let's take a look. 1 year development of 2 quinces and maybe 3. It's a bit of a messy video, I'm afraid. Pseudocydonia sinensis, cuttings in July and August under mist. Reduced mist as soon as cutting started root. Should be no problem. So the reason I needed to check my propagation handbook is because of this quince. 2 months ago I put this air layer in place. And so far I have not been able to see any signs that this thing is rooting. In fact, I'm seeing the opposite. If you look at this foliage, this is dark green, healthy. The top, however, is starting to get yellow, and that's concerning to me. If the top goes yellow, that means that the plant is not delivering the nutrients to the top anymore, and that might mean that this will fail. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to open up this air layer, check what's going on, see whether I can help it, and maybe this will have to continue as a cutting. Let's take a look. Let's see what is in there. As a substrate I used cocoa peat, which is not my regular substrate to use for air layering. And it was a bit of a trial, and it seems like the trial didn't really work. Substrate is still nice and moist. Look at the perfect callousing that's taking place here, but no rooting. Really interesting. No, there's absolutely no bridging of the cut side here. Interesting. No roots, no bridging. Now what to do? Treat it as a cutting and continue there. Considering how the foliage is turning yellow, and I'm concerned that the sap inflow is being reduced by the plant, I'm just going to go and treat this as a cutting instead. Removing excess foliage because I don't want it to dry out. Is that all that's connected to this part? There we go. And then the big one. Oh, that's strong. I'm really not amused, and actually I don't want to spend a lot of time on this. If it lives, it lives. If not, it doesn't. So just take a bit of my rooting hormone jelly. Small one. See whether this callus wants to root for me. As always, cursing has helped. Look at that. It is the middle of December. Actually, it is late December. We're a couple of days away from New Year, and I've got green buds on this cutting slash air layer slash plant that didn't root over summer. It's been kept in the greenhouse. I've got the other 2 ones in the greenhouse as well. I guess I'm going to take midwinter cuttings of Pseudocydonia. Last spring I cut here a dead stump away And on the other side, let's see which way does it turn. Here I did a bit of carving, and you can see it is starting to callus over. You see here, it is starting to close this wound. And if we turn the tree around, on top here we see the same thing. Also healthy bark starting to grow over the dead areas. Hey, and if you like my channel, if you like my videos, leave a comment, hit that like button, or maybe even subscribe. It would help me a lot. My channel will grow, more people will get to see my videos, and I'll get more energy to make better videos. Thanks a lot. This fortunately is still alive, helping to close the wound down below. And if we look at the trunk, this is actually a pretty nice trunk. And also from this side, this is a pretty nice trunk. This I'm never going to use as a main branch. It's just going to be too heavy, so I'm going to cut it off. But I can only cut it off once this has healed. Otherwise I get a huge wound. But what I can do now, I can reduce this one already, right? Yeah. Now this I actually am going to leave alone. I'm just going to let it grow for the season. Make this thicker. Heal the wound on the back. Yeah, that's what I'll do. So this is the second tree, and you see these branches were grown over summer and I cut them off earlier. It's now middle of winter, and here also we have a low branch which is nice for thickening up, but it's never going to be part of the final tree. So I think this could also be chopped off. There is a nice little side branch here that I can leave on so it doesn't die off completely. So the trunk here is dead, but here it is alive, and here there's the other edge of the living part. This here is dead. All this bark is dead. Can't get it off though. So I could actually say that I'm going to chop it all away, all the way up to here, and start with this as the new leader. But I think I'm going to let it grow for another season before I cut down any further. I want here this to strengthen up a little bit, and I don't know exactly where this comes from. Maybe it only comes here from the back. So it's starting to look a lot like spring, and will you look at that? The failed air layer is pushing buds everywhere, and in fact I think I see flowers. Now that is exciting, so I'm not going to take it out of the pot today. I'm just going to let it grow for a little bit to make sure it actually really roots. And the two main artists in the game, they look amazing. They are really pushing. And it's good to realize we are now in the first week of March as I'm recording this video. Well, actually this part of the video. And they're pushing like crazy. These actually have sat in my shed for the last couple of weeks because we've had frosty nights. And as these were frost damaged. And as these were frost damaged, I decided to protect them a little bit. If anybody has more experience with this species, how frost resistant are they, really? Now, okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take them out of the pot, repot them, plant them up, get it over with, quick and dirty. I'm not going to explain a lot unless I find something very cool and interesting in the root ball. You know how a repot works, right? And if not, I have a video on repotting trees. Go watch that. There's a link down below in the description. I know it isn't tied in. These bloody roots have just grown through it so much. Guess what? It is tied in. Always check. As always, thin out, taking the more heavy roots out in favor of younger roots closer to the trunks. There's plenty of roots here, all well developed. Just make sure you don't drop your roots in your tea.
Right, now we can see what we're doing.
We can see this very big root here, and there's another big root here on this side. And this is potentially a front of the tree, but there's this root here, and this root is actually quite high compared to that root. So if I plant it up like this, it's going to be maybe a little bit too high for a nice Nebari, especially if you look at the fact there's roots here, there are roots here, there are roots just below it. So what I'm going to do, it's a little bit awkward to do, I don't really like to, but take this root out. It's a bit of a shame, but now here there's all these young roots and there's a nice root there and they'll all get a chance to develop. I'm not sure what to do with this root here and this root there. This lump is going to go. Maybe I should shorten this one and shorten that one a little bit. Let me get my big loppers. There we go. So all of last season I've been wondering what this loop in the roots is. And now I see it is a root that has folded up, come around and went down here again. As it has a nice root here, it has side roots here, there's roots here, here and there. It integrates well with the Nebari, but look at that. Round, up and then to the back. This is going to be very, very cool. I'm going to leave it. Not everybody think these things are cool. I do. Who would have thought? Flower buds. It looks like this one cutting has indeed rooted. And this is in fact the top that I air layered. This one, which I just cut off, has died. I can toss this one away. But this is cool. So apparently, even if the air layer didn't work, you can get roots over winter.